Did it kick him out because I was recording? Oh, okay, so it's-
All right. So we're going to be interviewing you for a role. The first question is just tell me who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Afshina Des Ravens. A little bit about myself. I have been involved in lots of different creative arts all throughout my childhood, from dance, musical theater, gymnastics, ice skating. I've done it all, karate, acting, anything you could think of under the sun. So I've learned a lot, I guess, in doing all of that, of just trying to remain dedicated to different things that you do try. I started school in 2018 at LSU on campus. And once COVID kind of hit, once we went online, I realized I do much better with that. So I decided to finish schooling online so that I could go to a new state. And now I live in Texas and I can work. I kind of get to like take more time to myself and still don't have to live with my parents. So that's just a little bit about me.
Cool. Um, why are you interested in this position? Is the next question.
So this position, I'd say anything that has to do with neurology, I've always been interested in since I was in about seventh grade. Um, I love the brain. I love observing people and trying to figure out why they do what they do. So neuroscience has just always been dear to my heart. So anything neuro involved interests me. So that did pique my interest about this job position, that it would be something I could do, not needing my master's, that I could do with just a bachelor's, but still involved with what I want to do so far as the field that I want to be in.
Perfect. Um, tell me about your strengths and your weakness.
Okay, I want to say that my strengths and weaknesses kind of play into each other. I can really, how do I put this? I love details, and sometimes I can focus on the detail a little too much where I lose the whole picture because I'm so stuck on one puzzle piece. So as much as it is a great strength and it can help you with accomplishing projects in the end, sometimes I lose the project because I'm so focused on making one part perfect. So that'd probably be one of my biggest weaknesses. Outside of that, I'd say I leave too much in my head. I'm really introspective as an individual, so sometimes I don't write things out, and that is a big weakness for myself because I'll forget it because it's like in the back of my head, and now I'm on to like 30 other things. Strengths outside of attention to detail, I would say I'm really good at being able to pull myself out of a situation and kind of dissociate from it to kind of observe it from a nonpartisan view and not always make a decision based on my emotions.
Cool. What are your professional goals?
Professional goals, I would love to do research. Pediatric neural research is dear to my heart. I think there's so much that we can help with the 20 somethings age that everyone feels is so off balance or just out of the norm. But there's so many of them that's just trying to figure out who they are. And I think if we did a better job of letting kids figure out who they are and paying attention to the signs of different mental health disorders and just different ways of thinking while kids are still young and figuring out how to tackle school and just figure out what they want to do, I think it would make a big difference in people's lives. So professionally, research that's what I want to do.
Um, in that, how do you think your education has prepared you for a job, say in researching or neuroscience or in those realms?
Yeah, so I'd say education wise, I actually started out doing biological engineering as my major when I was at LSU's campus. And that was interesting for me. I'm not the best with math, but I figured that I would enjoy the biological part of that engineering aspect. And I really did learn a lot. I became the president of the National Society of Black Engineers by my sophomore year. And that was slightly overwhelming, but I learned so much from the different engineering companies that they would bring to speak to us, the senior engineer majors, the graduate engineer majors that were still a part of NSBE, there was just more preparation on how to be a Black individual in the corporate world, I guess, that I wasn't, not that I wasn't aware of, I wasn't thinking of how it would affect me and how it would impact my relationships to others, whether they were coworkers, bosses, subordinates, just being a Black female in the corporate world. There was a lot that I didn't realize I would have to figure out and understand about myself and be comfortable in myself to be able to do research. And aside from that, I'd say just, psychology as a whole has just opened my mind to what it is that I love, because I've always loved psychology, but I tried to find my way around it because I thought, oh, I don't want to be doing what everyone else is doing. But when you're studying something that you love, it's not really doing what everyone's doing, it's studying what you love. So I would definitely say those experiences have helped me just frame my next steps a little bit better than I was thinking about them after high school.
Perfect. Can you give me an example of when you had to critically solve an issue?
Okay. Hmm. So I guess I could say in the work field, I guess I've been working since I was in high school, and right now I work as a preschool teacher. It is very interesting dealing with kids. They're a great group to deal with, but they require a lot of patience, a lot more patience than I thought I had. And with teaching kids, you have to kind of carry yourself a certain way. And I've noticed with like my coworkers, because they're younger than I am, I realize they don't exactly understand that, how much we're impacting the children daily, because at 3 and 4 and under, every day is something new that you're gonna stick with for the rest of your life. So I didn't realize how disciplined I was as an individual. I thought I was just very more of a loose cannon, I'd say. And in that, I kind of found myself getting frustrated with my coworkers constantly. And sometimes when I would say things to them, I'd have to remind myself to not say it so harshly, because in my professional analytical job mode, I'm like, okay, yeah, this has to get done, and then will this get done, and then that can get done. And then next thing I know, when I turned around to ask them to do something for me, I didn't even bring myself out of that to say it in a nice way. And I just said, hey, do that because that has to get done. And not everyone can take that. I know I'm used to it because that's how I was raised, but not everyone is used to that. And recently, I had to sit down with a coworker and my boss to just kind of figure out how to bridge that disconnect, because I could see that their work ethic wasn't there. My boss couldn't really see it, and the coworker couldn't really see it. But I was having a hard time articulating it in a nice way, because it's very hard to tell someone you're not working well without it coming off kind of mean. And I'd say just I had to kind of, like I said, I had to pull myself out of that situation and kind of stop thinking as if, okay, Afshina doesn't like this, Afshina doesn't like that, and just kind of go, okay, if I was this person, or if I was outside of this watching everything, what would I think about this person talking to their coworker this way and their coworker doing this, and it kind of made me stop and dissociate from it. It helped the situation, I'd say, because I was able to understand them a little more and understand that I was being a little harsh and try to reword it, which should help them in the long run. Because now that I'm out of work, they are texting me all the time that they miss me and that they wish they listened to me sooner. And, I would say, I guess it wasn't as much critical thinking, but it was just a problem solving situation that I had to kind of think further than just in the moment making a decision and going with it, kind of.
Perfect. Final question. What skills do you believe would be most valuable in this type of position?
Um, First and foremost, I would say open-mindedness. I think anything that has to do with science and research, you have to be open-minded, because if you can't think open-mindedly, you can't understand someone else's point of view or even progress the field. Because so many things that now in psychology or even just in society we see as typical social norms are things you go just 50 years back would be completely new and random to people. So first, I would say open-mindedness. Secondly, I would say patience, because it's not only patience with your coworkers and who you work with, but patience with yourself to be able to accept your downfalls and be able to pick yourself up and keep moving and not just let anything stop you in that sense. And after patience, I like the numbers of threes. So I feel like I need at least one more. Other than open-mindedness and patience, I'd say diligence or just discipline, just that work ethic to be able to keep going on something and not give up. Because if you give up before you reach the finish line, what did you do? So I think those three things are just really great skills for people to have, because in any field, they'll really help everyone, not just the individual themselves.
Cool. Terrific. It was a great interview.
Thanks. Okay, so I guess we'll close it and scene. Okay, let me just grab a quick sip of water. My stomach is hurting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, back. All right. Hi, my name is Afshina Des Ravens. I am your interviewer today. Today we will be interviewing for a behavioral technician at a neuro clinic. So first and foremost, if you could just tell me a little bit, your name, a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Well, my name is Kevin Oakley. I'm from Louisiana. I'm majoring in industrial and organizational psychology. Um, I started late a bit in the game. I'm 38. Um, I love dogs. And I love working with people. Um, I'm kind of introverted, but I love on certain levels, certain projects, certain things. I just like working with people. I find that certain things you get more done when it's more than one idea. Um, I'm a homebody, and I'm just prepping for graduation and trying to find grad school. So right now to uh, level up on my skills. So
Nice. And then so why would you be interested in this behavioral technician position right now, would you say?
a lot of things about the behavioral aspect of people, um, I guess you'd say, intrigue me. Um, why people do things, what makes them, the age-old thing, what makes people tick. Um, and it took a while to learn that everybody's different, like really different. So certain behaviors aren't always the norm,
Yeah.
because different situations require different norms.
Mhm.
So that's what interests me.
Yeah, I get you. So what would you say is your biggest weakness, and then what would you say is your biggest strength? You can list a few if you'd like to as well.
A weakness that I know and I'm currently still working on is my communication skills. Um, Sometimes the way you communicate things matters, and it
Definitely.
makes a big difference. Um, it's all in about a lot of times how you say things, how you convey things, and not what you convey. It's how you convey it. I had to learn that maybe not everybody is thick-skinned like me, so that they can take those what some would call abrasive criticisms. So I had to learn how to work those, how to be a little bit more sensitive in my delivery.
Right.
A strength is, I would say, my customer service skills, because I can apply those skills to a lot of things, whether it's if I'm conveying an email or a group work or individually one on one. those things matter. So I think my customer service skills kind of gives me a little edge on most things.
Good, good. So what would you say are your professional goals right now?
Right now, my professional goals would be to obtain a promotion or some kind of, I would really like to be corporate, but I know that I have to start off small.
Right.
So right now I work as a human resources coordinator at a community college. In the future, I would like to maybe branch that out to where I can not only keep it in the educational field, but go in the medical field. That's been a big dream of mine. Anything in the medical field, whether it's management, taking care of people. Um, I feel like the medical field is a field that really matters, and that's a field that you can really change people's lives.
Definitely.
And it's been one of the things that's helped to change my life with, you know, autoimmune illnesses, and that would be my biggest goal.
Nice. I love that. How do you think your education has prepared you for that job then, or this job?
Education has given me some leadership skills. It's given me leadership knowledge that I didn't have previously.
Mhm.
Um, it's given me things like how to select candidates, how to again, how to manage them, and
Right.
how to make everything cohesive among the whole group or the institution or the organization. So um, my education has really given me a lot in these last 4 years that
Right.
I didn't in the previous 32. So it's been great.
That's good. I love to hear that. So I guess what are three skills that you think would be most valuable for this position?
Patience is number one. Then that's with anything. You have to have patience because um, a lot of times it's not that people aren't paying attention or have their mind elsewhere. It's just there's a some kind of maybe communicational disconnect. And so just to have the patience to kind of have a way of maneuvering, I guess you'd say, around certain things. Um, Communication, of course, is another skill that you would have to have. And that would be communicating with subordinates, patients, um, patients' families,
Yeah.
clients' families. You have to have um, a variation of communication, and you
Right.
have to have some at least some kind of foundation to get you where you need to be in order to communicate effectively. And a third skill, I would probably have to say stamina, some kind of mental stamina,
Yeah.
because work situations can be difficult in combination with life.
Mhm.
So having some kind of mental works, some kind of stability to work that out would be important.
Definitely. Those are three big things. I agree with you there. So I guess next, where would you see yourself in 5 years and then sequence of wrong word and next in 10 years?
In 5 years, I would hope to have been completed a terminal master's degree,
Mhm.
and entering into a PhD program. I do have eyes set on a PhD program. So that would be my 10-year mark where I would be into a role of that requires my PhD.
Okay. Happy to hear that. Um, okay, so close. I don't know what else to say for that. But that was good. I think we did great.
Yeah.
Let me stop the recording. 1 second.